Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, dear brothers and sisters, it's Muhammad Shafiq here. Now yesterday, Shahid Ali, the person who has had some issues with Shaykh Asrar Rashid, had described his own video, previous video, as a moment of madness and had apologized publicly on camera to Shaykh Asrar for his accusations, his innuendo and his vicious personal attacks. And we all thought that was the end of it. He promised that he would behave in a more positive way as he moved forward. And less than 2 weeks later, he decides to produce his video that we all saw yesterday. And that video contained a number of allegations towards Shaykh Asrar Rashid. I don't speak for Shaykh Asrar Rashid. He speaks for himself. He's strong enough to do that. But I ask you this. You sat with Shaykh Asrar Rashid in that private meeting that wasn't allowed to be filmed because your Ustad, Shaykh Aslam, Mufti Aslam, wouldn't allow it. Because Mufti Aslam possibly didn't want you to get humiliated on camera. But khair, you came to your senses. You accepted your mistakes and you move on. And yet now, 3 weeks later, you're going through the same script. Brother Shahid Ali, Muslims, Brelvis, Sunnis, as you like to describe it, are leaving the fold of Islam. Atheism and non-belief is on the increase within our community here in Britain. Islamophobia is massively on the rise. 48% of hate crimes carried out against people of faith in this country are against Muslims. People are so disconnected and unaware of the simple principles of our faith. For example, the concept of Khatm Nabuwat. And deviant sects are using their lack of knowledge to brainwash people into a different mindset. I spent 15 years of my life standing up for my faith. Spent 15 years on the mainstream media taking on the far right and the enemies of Islam, whether by defending the honour of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or defending the British Muslim community. I take great pride in that. Sir, it's time to bring people together. It's trying to adopt an approach that allows you to disagree with a scholar, but don't go to the point of what you do, which is do takhfir of people. Now you mentioned my name and my post. Obviously it must have hit a nerve, because why would you do that when you were talking to Shaykh Asrar Rashid? You do, Shaykh Shahid Ali, what the Daily Mail do, guilt by association. Now I know me and you are not responsible for what goes on in our respective families. You know where I'm going with that. I don't hold you responsible for that. Are they responsible for the actions of people within our communities, for crime and disorder that goes on? Those individuals are responsible. But what you're trying to do in that video is somehow say, I, Muhammad Shafiq, somehow dishonour the Sahaba wa na'uzu billah. And therefore, Shaykh Asrar, you associate with people like Muhammad Shafiq. I wouldn't respond to you. People write about me, fake news, people make videos about me and make issues about me without even knowing who I am, which I don't really feel the need to respond to every single one. But you, sir, have levelled a very serious allegation against me. And I ask you to produce that evidence. Name me the place, the time where I, Muhammad Shafiq, not Mr. A or Scholar B or Scholar C, because they're responsible for their actions and their words, me, have ever dishonoured any Sahabi. May Allah make the day never come that these lips would ever say anything about a Sahabi in that derogatory way. They would ever say anything about the Ahlul Bayt. I'm a murid of Khwaja Zinda Pir Sahib. My Shaykh and his family have given us the sabak to honour and respect the Sahaba and the Ahlul Bayt. That's it, khalas. Honour and respect them and love them. I believe all the Sahaba who were honoured by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst that first generation, to sit in the sohbat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to see Rasulullah with their own eyes, those Sahaba, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, I see them all as people of Jannah. Whether they be from Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar, whether to be Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. We honor the Sahaba and we honor the Ahlul Bayt. I tell you this because I don't really need to prove my Sunniyat. I don't need to prove my Aqidah to you or anybody else. But I tell it out there because you make an insinuation that somehow my faith, my Iman was dodgy. And I want you to put it out there. So if you have any evidence, you've got my number. Just pick up the phone and tell me where I have ever done that. I can say categorically it's not within my DNA to do that. My parents didn't bring me up to dishonor or disrespect the Sahaba. And I want to make one final point to you. When it came to defending the honor of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra Salamun Alayha, you know what I'm talking about. Last year, Ashraf Jalali and his despicable, disgusting comments about Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. What did you do? You're on the same social media groups I'm on, the WhatsApp groups. You spend all that time defending him. Not defending Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, not defending the Ahlul Bayt, but you spent that time defending him. But I'm still not going to hold you responsible for him. Jalali is responsible for his own words and his own actions. So Shahid Ali, you can say what you like about me, but responsibility of our Imams is to bring people together, not to do this modern day takfirism, that somehow you and your mindset, your opinion are the only people who can determine who is a Sunni. And anybody else somehow is described as not a Sunni. That's what we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on bringing communities together and using akhlaq and our character to better people and to bring those people that have drifted away from Islam back into our communities. And the issues that you have with Shaykh Asrar are an issue for you. So kindly either produce the evidence that I, Muhammad Shafiq, ever said anything or did anything to disrespect and dishonor the Sahaba. You've got issues with Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. I'm not a murid of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Shah Sahab. I have attended his sohbat, I've met with him, I've ate with him, I've talked to him. I honor and respect him for the sole reason that he is a Sayyid and he's from the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he's a scholar of Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat. In the same way, Sayyid Irfan Shah Sahab, I honor and respect him. Indeed, even your scholar, Mufti Aslam, who I hosted on TV programs on Ummah channel, ate with him. Is he guilty by association as well? This approach doesn't work. This approach of doing takfir and attacking people, calling their integrity into question and insulting and insinuating just doesn't work. If you think you've been strengthened by this video, it might make your ego feel better, but you've been humiliated. And I urge you, wallahi I urge you from the bottom of my heart to focus on the issues that matter. Our youth are involved in drugs, in child sexual exploitation, in crime, in so many different things in our community, and are crying out for leadership. Yet you, sir, choose to spend the time that you have and the pulpit that you have, the honor that you have, to go after other scholars. So finally I say this to you. Produce the evidence wherever I have said or done anything in dishonor of the Sahaba. May Allah strike me down if this voice, this tongue, ever says anything about any Sahabi. And those that know me will know that I'm a deep lover of the Sahaba and the Ahlul Bayt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you. May Allah give you the tawfiq and give me the tawfiq to love the Ahlul Bayt and the Sahaba in the way that they should be loved. And may Allah give us the ability to defend their name equally, Sahaba and the Ahlul Bayt. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability, particularly to our scholars, to focus on the issues that matter in our community. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.